a.m., according to Conrad Murray, Michael Jackson says he needs the milk, that it's the only thing that will allow him to sleep, and he needs the milk. And Conrad Murray comments on this in his interview.
I said, if you got propofol now, which of course he referred to as the milk, how much time, how much sleep you expect to have? You know, you're going to be needing to be up no later than noon. And he said, just make me sleep, doesn't matter what time I get. I said, what would happen to your rehearsals and your schedule for the day? He said, I can't function if I don't sleep. They'll have to cancel it, and I don't want them to cancel it, but they will have to cancel it. So I agreed at that time that I would switch over to the propofol.
Now think about that comment and that statement of Conrad Murray and what it reveals about Conrad Murray's intent. It's a very telling statement. His own words are that this is after 10 a.m. and he wants propofol. And Conrad Murray is not concerned, well, I'm going to give you 25 milligrams that will cause you to sleep for 5 or 7 minutes. Conrad Murray is concerned that he needs to be up no later than noon. If this is shortly after 10 a.m., that's potentially 2 hours into the future. And Conrad Murray's concerned, well, what about you need to be up at noon? Not 5 to 7 minutes from now, noon. Having that concern in mind, it is only after Michael Jackson says, well, they'll have to cancel it. Because clearly what Michael Jackson is requesting and clearly what Conrad Murray is intending on giving, if you believe this statement, is something that will cause him to sleep far past 12 o'clock. So it is only after Michael Jackson says they'll have to cancel it. In other words, I don't need to be up at noon. I can sleep past noon. That is when Conrad Murray says, so I agreed at that time that I would switch over to the propofol. Only after it had been agreed that the rehearsal would be canceled, Michael would not need to be up at noon. That shows what was taking place. Not an intent to put him in a light sleep for 5 minutes, but an intent, as Nurse Lee said, to knock him out. If you believe he was even awake at this time and not already knocked out as a result of the propofol being given by Conrad Murray. So at 10:40 a.m., according to Conrad Murray, in response to that dialogue that the rehearsal will be canceled, he doesn't need to be up at noon, he then wants you to believe that he just gave 25 milligrams diluted with lidocaine, enough that would put him down for about 5 to 7 minutes or thereabout. Slowly infused, Jackson goes to sleep. Following the administration of the propofol,
watch him for a long enough period that I felt comfortable. But then I needed to go to the bathroom. So I got up, went to the bathroom to release myself of urine, and also consider getting rid of some of his urination that he had put in the jugs overnight. And then I came back to his bedside, and I was stunned in the sense that he wasn't breathing.
He was gone for just 2 minutes. And when he came back, he finds Michael to be not breathing, but he checked the pulse oximeter, which displayed a heartbeat of 122. He additionally reached and checked Michael's femoral pulse. He felt a pulse, meaning that the heart was beating, but Michael was not breathing. This is the risk of propofol: airway obstruction, relaxation so that the tongue falls back and you stop breathing. That is why propofol administration among a million other reasons, is so dangerous in this setting without the appropriate equipment. But by Conrad Murray's own words, Michael Jackson had stopped breathing but still had a heartbeat when he came back after just 2 minutes. And not only did he check it with the pulse oximeter, but he physically checked it as well. He does not call 911. And if you did not hear the audio of this as you sat in this trial, it would almost be completely unbelievable, the statements that Conrad Murray makes to justify his failure to do the most basic, the most common sense thing that we all learn as young children, that you call 911 immediately. He does not call 911 because to speak to a 911 operator would be to neglect Michael Jackson. To speak to a 911 operator was the only hope of Michael Jackson being revived to see another day. But Conrad Murray chose not to call 911 because Conrad Murray had other things on his mind, protecting Conrad Murray. So what does he do? He calls Michael Amir Williams. Does he ask Michael Amir Williams to call 911? No. He calls him at 12:12 p.m. We know he leaves a message on his phone. Setting aside all the other bizarre behavior on the part of Conrad Murray, setting everything else aside, he left a message on the voicemail. All he had to say was, call 911. We need a paramedic at Carrollwood. But he didn't say that. And he admits he didn't say that. I did not want him to. I couldn't ask him at that time to call 911 because he would want to know what it was about. And I have a patient that needs help, and I'm trying to assist. I'm trying to do it the best I can and try to get help. This is Conrad Murray's version of events prior to getting the voicemail recording and the phone records. You now know that Conrad Murray left a voicemail. Call me right away. Call me right away. He doesn't say call 911. Michael Amir Williams had no opportunity to ask questions if that was truly Conrad Murray's concern. He left a voicemail message. And he could have used that time to call 911. He should have used the time much earlier to call 911, but we know for a fact that at 12:12 he made this phone call to Michael Amir Williams and made no mention of 911 whatsoever. Because Conrad Murray knew what he had done. He knew what he had done. And he knew his acts killed Michael Jackson. Maybe he's panicked. Maybe he's still cleaning up. Maybe he's hoping some miracle befalls him and Michael Jackson is revived and no one will need to know about this. But he is putting Conrad Murray first. He is putting Conrad Murray first, and he's intentionally not calling 911. He's intentionally delaying the arrival of help that could have saved Michael Jackson's life. What do we learn then following this interview? Following defendant Murray's version of events, we learn a great deal. We learn about the telephone activity throughout the evening and during the relevant time period. And keep in mind when you try to link it up to his statements. We have here at 9:23, he's speaking to a Chanel Murray, and for 22 minutes. 22 minutes at 9:23 a.m. That takes you to 9:45 a.m. During this time, if you believe his interview, Michael's complaining. Michael needs to sleep. Michael continues to complain and complain and complain. He has a personal doctor there whose role is to give him propofol. And Conrad Murray would have you believe that Michael is complaining, asking to be put to sleep, but yet we know Conrad Murray is on the phone. Conrad Murray, for 22 minutes right there at 9:23, is on the phone. Do you really believe that with the anticipation that Conrad Murray is going to be paid $150,000 a month, and Michael is desperate for sleep, that Conrad Murray has left him there complaining and is just simply on the phone elsewhere? Or is it more reasonable that Michael Jackson is being infused and is in fact asleep, and Conrad Murray is going about his business of telephone calls, emails, text messages,